Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Y'all, it is week 4. We are 4 weeks away from the last frost date in zone 7, and this video is our weekly seed starting challenge. If you are brand new, this is the first time you ever landed on my video, welcome. Please say hello in the comments. Let me know what city, state, or country you're coming in from so I can say hello back. And for those who have been here, thank you so much for continuing to show up. And you already know what time it is. It is time to start our seeds. And y'all, I can tell you at this point in the journey, I started to get a little weary because there are seeds all over my house, okay? We've now gone into the second room. I'll show you that a little bit later in the video. But yet, we're showing up yet again for another week of seed starting. So if you're brand new to me and you just landed, what is the weekly seed starting challenge? For the last 7 weeks, we started with 11 weeks before the last frost day. We have been starting seeds every single week, and I've been challenging you to start seeds with me every single week. So that way that you can pace out what you're starting, that you're starting things at the right time, not too soon, not too early, and giving you the information about what to start when. So we've been doing that for the last 7 weeks. Every single week it is in the seed starting playlist. And so if you've missed some weeks, feel free to go back and watch the last 7 weeks, binge, do whatever you need to do to catch up. Now, for those of you that are not in my zone, that is okay. You can still be part of the weekly seed starting challenge. That just means that whenever I'm talking about 4 weeks before the last frost date, like in this video, when you get to your 4 weeks, that is what you should be planting, exactly what I'm planting. Your timing may be different. You may be ahead of me. You may be behind me. Some of you, like in 8A, you're like 3 weeks or 2 weeks away from your last frost date. So these things you should have already started. But again, I always say, most of the time, you're never late. You can always start. So if there is something that was supposed to be started at 6 weeks and it's at 4 weeks, go ahead and start it if you want to. Or you can always choose to direct sow it after the last frost date. So how many of you have been participating in the challenge every single week? Let me know down in the comments below and just say me. If you have been participating every single week with starting seeds, let me know in the comments. And let me know if it's been a blessing to you to do that, and that if it's been helpful for you to start seeds out each week. Now, I tell you, there's some weeks that we started, just 72 seeds. And there's other weeks, we had 2 weeks where we started like 400 seeds each, right? And let me just tell you, when you're first starting, like at week 11, week 12, you have that one little tray you bring in your house. You got your little setup station. You're excited because summer garden is on the horizon, and you've been cooped up in the house all winter. Maybe you haven't been gardening if you didn't do a fall or winter gardening. But y'all, by now, the summer garden is in view. And so I have two emotions, right? I have the emotion of, oh my goodness, there is so much I need to get done before the last frost date. And then the other one is, I'm tired of starting seeds. They're all over my house and they have become a job. And that's what it is at this point in the season. That's just being honest. Now, am I not going to start seeds? No, I'm showing up today. I'm pushing through it. I'm going to start these seeds because I know that I am literally growing my family's groceries. Okay. So let's talk about what we're going to be starting and what you should be starting at 4 weeks before the last frost date. But I first want to talk to you about, if you've been starting seeds, on pace with me, or just on pace with yourself, here are the things that you should be thinking about at this point in your seed starting journey. So one of the things you should be thinking about, or you should already kind of be on pace with, is up potting. At this point in the seed starting journey, if you have been starting seeds for the last 4 to 6 weeks, then it's probably time for you to start up potting some of your stuff. That just means simply taking it from a smaller pot to a bigger pot. So I've showed you that in the last couple of videos, but I want to put that on your radar, is that you should be thinking about that. The next thing you should be thinking about is making sure that you're keeping your seedlings watered. At this point in the season, I don't know if yours is the same way, but I'm having to water every single day. As the temperatures get warmer outside, it's getting warmer in my house. As the seedlings start to grow, they require more water. And so it used to be, okay, if it's a brand new, I just started, yes, I got to make sure that it's moist every single day. But I could probably go a day and a half without, fully watering. Now, y'all, I'll water at nighttime, and when I get up in the morning, I'm like, who sucked all the water? Like, it's just dry. If I miss a day, they start to look really, really, really bad. So making sure that you're keeping up with water. And again, like I said, at this point in the season, it starts to feel like a job, because if you're like me, I'm growing thousands of seeds, right? And so I have probably 20 trays of seeds easily. And so I do have a sprayer or a mister, and that works. But when you get to this point in the season, it just needs more water. And so I'm having to take them out usually every other day and take them to the sink and actually make sure they're doused with water and make sure that they're fully hydrated, because the mister just won't do, or the mister doesn't even do all my trays. I have to fill it up twice to get all the water in there. So let me know if you guys are experiencing the same thing. So one, you should be thinking about up potting if you're not, and making sure that you don't lose your seedlings. You've worked too hard. You've come too far. Don't let your seedlings go from 11 weeks before last frost date in the same little 6-inch sail and then try to plant it in your garden, okay? Do not do that. Make sure that you give it space and room to grow. And you should also be making sure that you're watering well and that they are staying hydrated, okay? For those of you who are much more ahead of me, you may even be starting to think about hardening your plants off. And so that may be a conversation for you to start hardening your plants off. Now for me, I will start bringing my plants outside once the temperature stabilizes, right? And it's like pretty much, you know, I would say 70 and above every single day. We're still having dips and stuff, but for me, it's easier for me to bring out my seedlings and load them up on my table and spray them all down with water and let them start to get the sunlight and all of that, versus trying to water them all inside. So you can call that a little bit of hardening off. I bring them outside, they get used to the sun, they get used to the wind. And so that is also something you should be thinking about, is hardening off your plants once you get at least a couple of weeks before you want to plant them out. Okay. The third thing that I want you to be thinking about is making sure that you have a fan on your seedlings. Okay. The fan mimics the wind. It helps your plants to be stronger and grow a stronger root system because of the sway of the fan, of the air, right? And so it's acting like it's wind, because if you keep your plants inside, your seedlings inside, and then you go and put them in your garden and they have not been hardened off, they have not been outside, they're going to go through what we call transplant shock, okay? Your house is nice, warm, and cozy. They haven't experienced any wind. They haven't experienced any sun. And so as soon as you put them out there, they're going to be like, what is happening to me? What is happening? It's kind of like when a mom gives birth, the baby comes out crying because it's like, it's cold. All these bright lights. It was dark, warm, and cozy. Your seedlings are the exact same way, okay? So put a fan on them. If you don't have a small fan, then every time you go by your seedlings, just rub your hands across the top. That also will strengthen them, okay? So those are the 3 tips for today, where you are, what you should be thinking about in your seed starting journey. Now let's talk about what to start at 4 weeks before the last frost date. Okay, so before we talk about what to start at 4 weeks, let me show you the progress that you and I have made together over the last 7 weeks as we started seeds. So in every video, I show what seeds we started the week before, how it's tracking, and the progress. Y'all, we're at the point we have so many seeds. I'm just going to do a visual kind of overview so you can see how things are growing. Overall, things are growing really, really well. I cannot complain. You can see here, this is one of the trays we did last week. Those are some peppers that have come up. Yellow Monster. There's some red ember peppers right there. Remember, we did more of those. And then also, this is where our basil is that we did last week. So all of the basil germinated. You can see I have perfect germination all the way down, and it is looking good. We did 3 kinds of basil. We did a cinnamon basil, a lemon basil, and then an Italian large leaf basil. But perfect germination all the way around. And then on this next tray, we have some marigolds that we did, as well as a couple of other things. There's a sage. Y'all, look at my rosemary from seed. Yes, I got 2 out of 6. I'm proud of that. There's some more basil. There is one long eucalyptus growing very, very slowly, but the germination, what we did last week, did really well. Now on this bottom tray, there's more tomatoes that need to be up potted. I've already up potted, I think 2 trays worth. This is maybe the last tray, hopefully, that needs to be up potted. I have peppers that need to be up potted. Y'all, up potting is the name of the game. Now we're actually in my sunroom. So this is a second shelf that we have. And we already have, I think, 5 or 6 trays on that. So these are the ones that I actually up potted with you guys, I think last week. So these are tomatoes that we up potted. You can see they look so good. Once they get more space, they really start to grow very quickly and look amazing. So this is another tray that I up potted. There you can see they look good. Again, they were not this big when I up potted them, but I'm telling you, when you give them more room, and these are peppers that we just up potted as well. I think that was like 3 or 4 days ago, and they're doing good. Now let me show you the comfrey that I actually started literally, y'all, just 5 days ago. I did 10 things of comfrey that you can see that I'm about to show you. Oh, that's more peppers. There, here's my comfrey, y'all. Already one has sprouted out of the 10. Look at that. It sprouted within like 3 days, which is very uncommon. Usually comfrey takes about 2 to 3 weeks, but I guess that one said it was ready. It was ready. So I'm excited about that. So overall, y'all, things are good. Like I said, we already have 2 shelves filled up in the sunroom, which is our second shelf. And then once we do the seeds for today, for the week 4 seeds, that will fill up another shelf, because we're going to start probably at least 300 seeds just today. Okay, y'all, it is the next day. So let me update you on what happened in the past 24 hours and why I'm not outside planting my seedlings. Y'all, it has been a whirlwind. So let me kind of bring you back to what happened. I was shooting the video and I had asked my son to come out to pour the soil on top of the trays for me, because I couldn't lift it because it was heavy. And so as my son was pouring the soil into the tray, I reached my hand in the bag to kind of help get it out and to smooth it onto the tray into the different pots. As soon as I reached my hand in the bag, something stung me, bit me, cut me. I don't know what happened. It was instantaneous. I reached my hand in the bag and immediately I felt like this. It felt like a piece of glass, a stick, a prick or something, but it was very, very sharp. I did not see anything whatsoever, but it was very sharp and it started burning and paining immediately. Like it was like on 10. We rushed into the house. I rinsed my hand underwater because of course I got soil and dirt on my hand and I'm rinsing it out. I don't see anything, but it is something sticking me and burning me in my finger. Here's the finger right here. I don't know if you can tell that my hand, it's coming down, but it's completely swollen. This is just so tight, y'all. Random freak accident. And so I don't see anything, but it feels like there's something that's under my skin. So he tries to get it out, and that was taking a minute, not a minute. It probably took, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes. It felt like he pulled something out, but it's nothing we could see. But it's like he would pull, and I'm like, okay, I feel relief. My husband came in the house. A couple of minutes later, I'm like, it's sticking me again. So it's another section. And again, I don't know if you can see that the camera is showing up. We started like right here, just like picking at something, almost like a tweezer effect, trying to get something out. And then it was something down here. It kept sticking me. Finally, we got all of the stickiness, whatever was sticking me gone. But again, we couldn't really see anything. It's like a little piece. I mean, I don't know if it was wood. I don't know what it was, but obviously something nicked me. And I pretty much feel like it was under my skin, because when he would pull out and there would be something on the thing, I would get relief from the stinging. But within 30 minutes, my finger started to swell. And I'm like, okay, I'm having an allergic reaction to something. Now, my son said he didn't see anything because literally, y'all, it happened so fast. Like he's pouring the soil and I just do like this. And as soon as my hand touched the soil, it was like instantaneous. So that makes me think that maybe something that was sharp and got under my skin and went under my skin that fast, because we didn't see a bee, we didn't see a wasp, we didn't see any of that. But anyway, my finger started to swell. And so I started putting on lemon balm salve, because lemon balm is antibacterial. It'll help with the irritation and all that. So that wasn't working. So then I got a charcoal poultice and I put it on there. Y'all, long story short, that happened around 4 p.m. yesterday. And it did not get better last night. So I actually slept last night with a charcoal poultice wrapped around my finger. If you don't know, charcoal will pull out toxins and things like that. I was trying all of these natural methods, and I'm just thinking, it couldn't have been that deep, right? I didn't even see what it was. And I'm like, if something bit me, like, what? So I'm just like, what is going on? But I couldn't do anything else for the rest of the evening. Well, when I woke up this morning, within 30 minutes of me waking up, my entire hand was just swollen from this one prick on my finger. Y'all. So needless to say, I'm not planting seeds today. What I'm gonna do is still go through the rest of the video. I'm gonna talk about what you should be planting at 4 weeks. I'm gonna tell you the specific varieties that I'm going to plant, but I'm not gonna be planting on this video. You guys have seen me plant before, so the only thing you're missing is just footage of me actually putting my hands in the dirt, spreading out the seeds and all that. Everything else you're going to get. When you see this, please send up a prayer for me. Like, it's just a random freak, I have no idea what happened type of situation, but my hand is still, I ended up going to the urgent care this morning because it started to freak me out that my hand was like completely swelling up. And so I'm like, either I'm having an allergic reaction and it's infected, or just an allergic reaction, I'm not sure, but nothing I'm doing is working. It is actually getting worse. And of course, my daughter, who is in Florida, who is the new nurse, is like, what are you doing? So they prescribed a whole bunch of stuff. I've been on, it's been like 3 or 4 hours since I have been to the urgent clinic. My hand has gone down. It doesn't look like it as much, like it was bigger than that. It has gone down, but not completely. And my finger is still tight, swollen, all the things. So send a prayer up. I'm gonna shoot this part of the video on what you missed, on what I missed telling you, and then your girl's about to go lay down, okay? And I will wake back up and I will see your comments and I will respond accordingly. I'm not one to take a lot of medicine. When I tell you my body is very, very sensitive to medicine, if the side effect says this, your girl, the body be like, we want all that. Like, we gonna do it. Like, give me the side. Very, very sensitive. So I'm very particular and I don't take medicine a lot. But when I can't combat it naturally or I don't know what to do, then obviously, and because it's soil, I have no idea what was in the soil. I think maybe it was just like a sharp piece of bark. I don't know. It was the weirdest thing. I have no idea. But because it's soil, it could be bacteria infection, I went ahead and got the antibiotic, and we're going to pray my strength in the Lord and pray that it's okay. But y'all, let's get to the business. So that's what's happening. And that's why I'm not outside. And then it's very, very windy outside. So I thought I would just come in here and let's talk through it. So after all of that said and done, you got the front part. We talked about what you should be looking for at 4 weeks in. I showed you my seedlings and how they're doing. Now let's talk about what you should be planting in 4 weeks before the last frost date. So there are 4 things: okra, the flower that's nasturtium, the flower that's zinnia, and then corn. Those are all things that you can plant now, or not plant, start seeds for at 4 weeks in. Now, I know some of you are like, man, can you start corn seeds? You absolutely can. I have done it for the past 2 years and it's worked out great. But before that, I never knew you could do that. I just always direct sowed mine. But when I started it, it gives it a head start. And y'all know that I was able to, something is flying around in here. So I did corn for the past 2 years as seed starts, and it gave me a head start. You guys know last year that it kind of came as a surprise. Like, I had corn fairly early. I was able to harvest my corn, I want to say like the first part of July. And I'm like, I got all the summer left. Let me do a second harvest. And I did. But because I was not prepared for it, the harvest kind of caught me on the end. Like, my second harvest was not as good as my first one. But this year, your girl's going to be prepared. We're going to be prepared because we're going to do more seed starts, like maybe halfway through the summer, so that by the time I harvest the corn, I can automatically put starts in and not have to wait that 2 weeks. So corn is a great thing to do as starts. So corn, okra, nasturtiums, and zinnias. Those are the things at 4 weeks in that you could be doing. Also, you could be doing sunflowers now. I usually do my sunflowers at 3 weeks in, so you will see that in next week's video. And that's just because when it comes to sunflowers, they grow very, very quickly, right? And so actually, you know what? I may actually do sunflowers this week. I usually do them. Yeah, I'll do sunflowers this week and next week because I will do some for my garden, but I will also do some to sell with our plant sales. They are a huge seller. The flowers, the flowers and the herbs were definitely things that were going on a regular basis. And then when it came to vegetables, eggplant and okra were my top 2 sellers, that's what I ran out of first. Which go figure. So we're going to see if the same things happen this year. This is my 3rd year. This will be my 3rd year doing plant start sales. And so I just did it on a whim 2 years ago, and it went really well. I think I made like $800. I was like, well, say less. Say less, because it was no extra effort for me, and I got them out of my house, and I didn't need them. They were just extra. And so the first year, I did not start plant sales. I did not start plants, seedlings to sell, but I had so many that I did not need. So I sold them as a whim, but I really enjoyed it. And so last year I made a little bit more of a concerted effort to have some extras of things. And then I made even more money last year. And so I'm like, game on, game on. Okay. And so this year we're starting some things. And again, I'm not doing a heavy focus on like, I am starting, tons of things to sell, but because I know some things sold really well last year, I do have a more concerted effort. So for today, I'm going to do, well, it won't be today. Hopefully it'll be tomorrow. I'll be well. I will do a whole flat of 72 of okra. Now that's definitely not for me. That is to sell, because your girl is not going to do that much okra, because okra is what, repeat it with me, okra is a diva. Okay. Okra is a diva, and there really can only be one diva in the garden, and that's going to be me. I am still debating whether I'm going to do okra this year, and I'll talk about that in another video when I talk through the garden plan and what I'm thinking. But let's talk about the specific varieties that I'm going to do in those 5 categories. And let me just sit down because y'all, okay. Let me get through this video so I can go and rest my body. But I did not want to not do the video because I know that you guys are waiting for it, and I am not going to stand in the way of your progress. Okay. And I've been working all day because I had meetings that I had to do. So I'm like, if I can do those meetings, I can do the rest of this video, which is what we're doing. And y'all, if you know me and been seeing me in the garden, you know that I don't typically wear gloves in the garden because I feel like I can work quicker and better without gloves, especially like when I'm up potting or starting seeds. The gloves it's like I can't feel it. It feels clunky. And so I don't normally wear gloves, but this has me second guessing my whole life situation in the garden about wearing gloves, because this right here, you know how one thing can just like change the trajectory of your day. Like it has upset my apple cart just from this one little thing of just trying to smooth out the soil. Like literally, my to-do list is like this long, and I've already lost 24 hours of production. Let me not complain. Let's talk about what we're starting. But what made me think about that is these cases. I'm like, do y'all have anything on y'all? Like, do I need gloves to handle y'all? Because I am like just gunshot now. And this right here, they gave me some topical stuff. It's itching so bad. Anyway. Okay, so for corn, this is what we're doing. We're doing peaches and cream corn. One kind, one variety. So if you're new to corn, as I was 3 or 4 years ago, I was doing all the things. I had so many different varieties of corn I was starting because I'm like, oh, I can mix them. Oh, I want to see which one I like best. But when you're growing corn, it's best to have one variety. That's how you're going to get the biggest success, because otherwise, if you're doing different varieties, they have different maturities, they cross-pollinate, the whole thing, you do not get as high of a yield. So we are doing peaches and cream. I have a whole quarter pound here from an urban farmer. We're going to do a whole tray, which is 72 of the corn, and we're going to plant all of that out. And I think I will do a whole nother tray to sell. Okay. Now, when it comes to okra, I'm going to do a whole tray of 72 of okra, and there's going to be 2 kinds that I'm going to do. I'm going to do very traditional Clemson spineless, and then I'm going to do this one from Haas called Cowhorn. I'm going to do those 2. Okay. I'll be honest, I've never really seen any difference. I've done several different kinds of okra. I've never really seen any difference between any of them, if I'm being honest. So that's what we're doing. Then we're going to do nasturtium. So nasturtium is a great flower to do. If you have a green stalk, it's great to fill your green stalk with nasturtium. It is also great to put in the corner or along the edge of your garden beds. It is a great insect repellent. And so nasturtium itself, I don't particularly care for them because they trail and they vine and all, and they can get pretty, what do you call it? Pretty wild. And y'all know I don't like wild stuff. I like for it to be all, you know, nice, neat, and contained. But I do nasturtiums every year because it is a great insect repellent. It's a great companion flower to plant alongside your vegetables and your herbs. And again, great filler for your green stalks. So I am doing, this is a new one called Purple Emperor. And so I'm going to do that one. Those are some pretty colors. And then I'm also going to do this one called Orchid Cream, which I think is really, really pretty. So those are the two that we're going to do. The other ones, the other reason why I don't like nasturtiums as much is because I usually don't like the colors. Like this one right here, like I don't like that. Oh, I also have another one that I may try, Bloody Mary. I like that one. I'm going to do a lot of nasturtiums because I do use it in my green stalks as fillers, as flowers. And it's pretty in the green stalk because it can trail. So if you put it like on the top, it can trail down. They get, you know, pretty big. And then in the raised beds, I always put them in corners. I never put them in the center of the bed, but I put them in corners where they can kind of trail on the ground. So just be mindful of that. They do make, I've heard, like a dwarf or mini nasturtium. I've just never found it. So if you have any mini dwarf nasturtium seeds or varieties, put it down below. And if you're feeling real generous, why don't you send me some seeds, please, okay? Send me a couple of seeds if you have them, okay? Okay, so that's what we're gonna do for nasturtiums. So I will probably do quite a bit of those. And you know what? I actually have written down how many I was gonna do because I was all organized. I was ready. So nasturtiums, I put down that I was gonna do 36. Is that enough? Yeah, that's probably enough. That's probably enough. If not, I'll do more next week. So we got our corn, we got our nasturtiums, we got our okra. Next are zinnias. And zinnias, I'm gonna do a whole tray of 72. I absolutely love zinnias. They're one of my favorite flowers. I have them all throughout my garden. And if you saw last year in my outside garden, I had a row of just nothing but flowers. I make flower arrangements to bring into my house every single week when I can because flowers bring me joy. I absolutely adore, love, heart flowers. I love them, okay? I cannot have enough of them. In my mind, I'm a flower farmer. In reality, I grow a lot of flowers. Oh, if I had the time though, time, energy, space, your girl would be having a flower farm as well as the vegetables and the herbs. Yes, ma'am. I absolutely would and would be selling flowers. But I don't have the time, the space, capacity, or bandwidth. But I do grow a lot of flowers for me. So zinnias, I'm doing a whole tray of, plus I sell them as well. And so I am going to do blushing champagne. This was sent to me by a viewer. I think this was sent to me by Lisa. So Lisa, shout out to you. I love it when you guys send me stuff. It's certainly not a requirement, but if you do it out of the goodness of your heart, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm also doing Benary's Giant Golden Yellow. These are Johnny's, so there's no pictures. I'll try to pop a picture up here. Y'all, if you don't see the pictures, just know I did the best that I could, okay? But I will try to pop the pictures. If not, you'll see it in my garden, okay? Next, I love the Oklahoma varieties of zinnias. So I'm gonna do salmon. That's that one. I'm going to do ivory. And I am also going to do a new one to me, which is carmine, okay? So I have the salmon one is so pretty. It's like a pinkish color. The carmine is like this fuchsia, purplish, pinkish color. And then obviously the yellow and the ivory are those colors. So I'm gonna do that. I'm also going to do one called Uproar Rose. Again, I'll try to put a picture. It's from Johnny's. I'm gonna do the agave. I've done that one before. I'm doing a new one called Purple Prince. Y'all got tons of zinnia seeds. Tons. Tons, tons, tons. Let me see if I have the Purple Prince. I don't think I have Purple Prince. Oh, yes, I do. Here we go. This is from Johnny's. Excuse me, Baker Creek. They sent it as a free seed. So I have that, which I think will be very, very pretty. That with some white and some eucalyptus and some basil in a flower arrangement. I think that's gonna be beautiful. And then I'm doing Fireball, which is like a mix of like a ton of colors, yellows, oranges, reds. Do I have a picture of that one? Yep, this is Fireball. Oranges and reds, not yellows. That one. And then I'm doing something called Giant Yellow. I talked about that. Okay. So that is what I'm going to be doing. Hopefully I will get my seeds started tomorrow. Zinnias and nasturtiums grow relatively quickly. Okra and corn, they're usually within a week as well. So hopefully we will have, like I said, we're starting at least 300 more seeds as soon as we can get out there. And then I talked about sunflowers. So for the sunflowers, I'll tell you guys about that next week because, again, because I'm behind, maybe I won't plant the sunflowers this week. If I do, I'll tell you what I did. But more than likely, that will be on next week's, the week 3 video. Okay? So y'all, that is what we are doing. Okay? Not what we have done. But you got your marching orders. You know exactly what you should be planting at 4 weeks in. You know what things you should be looking out for. And so definitely let me know how your gardens are going and growing. Your seed starts. I hope that everything is going very, very well. Let me know what you're starting this week if it's something that I didn't mention. And remember, if you need to catch up, you know, get to where we are. But thank you guys so much for joining me on another video. Remember, y'all, this is all a journey. Even when you get setbacks, that's random. But y'all, let's grow together. I cannot wait to see you in the next video. And I hope I have my hands in some soil in the next video, but maybe with gloves on. We'll see. All right. Talk to you guys soon.